Hey, what's going on, you hosers? Today I'm going to be making a Canadian classic dessert, eh? Oh, sorry about that. My Canadian accent came out there, eh? About. Sorry about that. Damn Canadian accent. Anyways, like I was trying to say poorly, is I'm going to be making a classic Canadian dessert. I'm talking about the Nanaimo bar. It's named after Nanaimo, British Columbia. They are crazy good. They are no bake, so nice and simple. And if you don't know how to make one, you'll really like this episode because man are they ever tasty. So let's get into making them. Okay, so to make these Nanaimo bars, we're going to start off in the kitchen. Get yourself a large pot, throw it on a burner on a medium-low heat, and throw in a half cup of unsalted butter. From there, we're just going to let it sit in the pot, swirl it around a little bit here and there, but just wait for the butter to melt. After it's melted, we're going to kill the heat on the burner for just a quick second and add in a quarter cup of white granulated sugar and 5 tablespoons of cocoa powder. Once that's in, I'm just going to use my whisk and whisk this all together until it's combined, making sure to break up any clumps of cocoa powder because it does have a tendency to clump up. Once this is all thoroughly whisked together, you're going to add in 1/8 of a teaspoon of kosher salt and then whisk that in as well. Now what you're going to do from there is turn the heat back on your burner to a medium-low heat, and then we're going to crack in 1 large egg. This egg is going to be what thickens this up and turns it almost into like a custard-like consistency. And you want the heat to be relatively low so that the egg doesn't cook and scramble on you. So a medium-low heat on your burner. Once you crack the egg in, you're just going to whisk this together on a medium-low heat for about 3 to 4 minutes until you get a custard-like consistency with your chocolate. Look at that. Look at that. It's nice and ribbony and thick. Okay, so into the next room we go because we have a couple of things that we have to add into this chocolate. Starting off with 1 cup of sweetened shredded coconut. Next in is 1 3/4 of a cup of graham cracker crumbs, and then last but not least, a half cup of finely diced pecans. So pour all of those in, and then you're just going to use your spatula and mix this all together. Now what you're going to find is when you first start mixing it, it's going to feel like there's not enough chocolate to properly cover everything, but just power through that, just keep mixing it, and you're going to get this nice chocolatey, fudgy, coconutty mixture that's going to be the base layer of our Nanaimo bars. So get out an 8 by 8 inch baking pan, line it with some parchment paper, and pour your chocolatey, coconutty mixture in, and then just press it down with your spatula, making sure to smooth it all out. You want a nice even layer for your base layer of your Nanaimo bars. And then once you've done that, we're going to stick this in the freezer just for like 10 to 15 minutes while we make the second layer of the Nanaimo bars. So get yourself out a mixing bowl, and into it add 1 3/4 of a cup of powdered sugar, and then we're going to add in a half cup of unsalted butter, just soften the room temperature. Next in is 2 tablespoons of custard powder, pour that in. And then last but not least, 2 tablespoons of heavy cream. So you're going to pour that in, then you're going to get out your electric mixer and you're going to mix this all together, whipping it together for the next 3 to 4 minutes until you get a nice smooth custard. This is the second layer of the Nanaimo squares. Look at how nice that is. And you know what? If you use the electric mixer, you get 2 beaters that you can lick all of the custard off. Oh yeah, that is super tasty. So let's go get our Nanaimo bars back. They've been sitting in the freezer and they've hardened up quite nicely over the past like 10 minutes. And what we're going to do now is just get a spatula and scoop out all of our custard onto the base layer of the Nanaimo bars. So just carefully scoop it all out and then use the same spatula that you scooped it all out with to smooth it all out and make your second layer of the Nanaimo bars. Make sure it's nice and even, similar to the base layer. You want to make sure everything is perfectly even, and then we're just going to stick this back in the freezer for 10 minutes while we make the final layer of these bars. So into a mixing bowl, add 8 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate chips, and then from there a quarter cup of unsalted butter. I've diced mine up into cubes. What we're going to do now is stick this in the microwave and microwave them in 20-second intervals, stirring every 20 seconds until you get a nice smooth chocolate like this. But we're not quite done yet. We're going to add in some light corn syrup, specifically a tablespoon of it, because adding in the corn syrup gives the chocolate a nice glossy consistency that I really like when you use it as a top layer on a dessert. So mix the corn syrup in, and then then it's time to just start layering it on top of your Nanaimo bars. So just carefully spatula it all out. You want to make sure you scrape the bowl. You don't want to waste any chocolate after all. So scrape it all out, then use your offset spatula or just the regular spatula you had before and smooth the chocolate out so that you get a nice even layer as your top layer of the Nanaimo bars. Look at how gorgeous these are. Now, we have to let this chocolate cool down, obviously, so I'm going to go stick this in the fridge for an hour or two before we cut into it. Maybe give it a couple of quick taps just to make sure the chocolate evens out. But yeah, stick it in your fridge for a couple of hours until the chocolate hardens up, and voila, we've got ourselves some Nanaimo bars. So let's just pull it out of the tin here, carefully will, and then I'm just going to pull down the parchment paper here, and look at the layers on this thing. Look at it. It looks perfect. Let's cut into this. I love Nanaimo bars. I can't wait to try one of these. Oh man, they're so good. They smell so damn good. All right, I'm just going to cut these up because I know Rose and Meg are going to want some as well. And here, let me break one off here. Look at how beautiful those are. Let's go in for the taste test. And wow, yeah, with the first bite, oh man, these are so tasty. I never get tired of Nanaimo bars. The base layer is nice and fudgy and coconutty because there's coconut in it. And then the second layer is nice and custardy and sweet. And then obviously the rich chocolate on top. Just a perfect combination all around for one hell of a delicious dessert. If you've never tried these before, please try making them because I guarantee you'll love them. They are so good. But let's leave it off there. Let's call it an episode. So if you liked what you saw here today, why don't you drop me a comment, like the video, or even subscribe to the channel. Thanks again for watching A Day Proof Cooking, and you know what? We'll see you again soon.